Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to get a little technical. You ready? We're talking high-tech manufacturing.
Ew, exciting.
It's not just like slapping a fancy screen on something and calling it high-tech. We're talking serious innovation here.
Absolutely.
And lucky for us, we've got expert speaker here to break it all down. Welcome to the deep dive.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So maybe, like, for anyone who hasn't been following this world super closely, could you give us a quick overview? What is high-tech manufacturing anyway?
You know, it's funny. People hear manufacturing and they picture like these old assembly lines, right? But high-tech manufacturing, think robotics, AI, data analysis, all this cutting-edge stuff woven into every single step.
Okay, so we're not just building faster cars. We're talking like,
What?
what? Personalized medicine, flying cars. Is that too much?
You're not far off. Think personalized medicine. Yeah, absolutely. But also like aerospace advancements that seem ripped from science fiction. It's about pushing boundaries, redefining what's possible.
Okay, now that sounds seriously impressive. But like, let's get real for a sec. Why should this matter to someone who isn't an engineer or, a tech billionaire?
Because this stuff affects all of us. It's about better medical treatments, greener technologies, new industries popping up. It's about tackling the big challenges, not just making flashy gadgets.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, like a ripple effect. And speaking of global impact, our sources for this deep dive really hone in on Europe. They highlight some, honestly, kind of unexpected powerhouses in this field. What's going on over there?
It's really interesting to see, this isn't just a Silicon Valley story anymore. Countries like Belgium and Malta are really stepping up and becoming major players.
Those aren't exactly the first places that come to mind, I'll be honest. What's making them such hotspots? What's the draw?
Well, for one thing, they're playing to their strengths. Belgium, for example, has a really strong history in chemicals and pharmaceuticals.
Right, right.
So they've leveraged that to become a leader in biotechnology and drug development. They're
Yeah.
attracting these big international players, but they're also fostering a really vibrant startup scene, too.
So they're not just riding the wave, they're like making the wave.
Exactly.
What about Malta? What are they up to?
Malta is a great example of like really targeted expertise. They've become a hub for microelectronics and precision engineering.
Yeah.
And that might sound niche, but it's essential for all sorts of things. Advanced electronics, aerospace components, all that. They're attracting a lot of foreign investment and becoming really key players in global supply chains.
Okay, so we're talking like cutting-edge pharmaceuticals from Belgium
Mm-hmm.
and high-tech electronics coming out of Malta. Can you paint a more, I don't know, a more vivid picture? Like, what do these advancements actually look like in action?
So imagine this. Belgian companies are at the forefront of like personalized medicine treatments tailored to your unique genetic makeup.
Whoa.
That's the future of healthcare, right? More effective treatments, less invasive procedures, all thanks to high-tech manufacturing.
Personalized medicine, wow. And what about Malta? You said something about aerospace?
Yeah, so in Malta, you have companies developing these incredibly complex and miniaturized components that go into everything, smartphones, satellites, even electric vehicles. And the advancements they're making are just insane. We're talking about levels of performance and efficiency that were unimaginable just a few years ago.
It's mind-blowing when you think about the level of, I don't know, precision and just technological know-how that goes into all of this.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder about the research and development side. Like, this feels like an area where if you stand still for even a second, you're immediately behind.
Oh, 100%. R&D and high-tech manufacturing, it's everything. It's not just a department. It's like the core of it all. You snooze, you lose, pretty much.
So you're not just building something, you're practically predicting the future. What are some of the big, I guess, areas of focus for R&D right now, especially in Europe, since that seems to be where a lot of this is happening?
Well, a lot of the buzz is around what we call Industry 4.0 technologies.
Okay, and what is that in like normal human terms?
Think artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, really advanced automation, that whole world. It's basically changing how factories operate, making them smarter, more efficient, more adaptable.
Okay, so instead of like Henry Ford's assembly line, it's more like, okay, give me an example. What does that actually look like in a factory?
All right, so picture this. Factory where the machines are learning in real time. They're not just following set instructions. They're using data from sensors, cameras, even from other machines to like correct problems before they happen.
Whoa, okay, that's wild.
Right. They can optimize energy usage, even personalize products on the fly.
Like the factories, like thinking for itself.
That's a great way to put it. It's like a living organism almost. And the thing is, this isn't some distant future. This is happening now.
That's a little intimidating, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking all this amazing technology, lightning fast progress. But what about, like, the planet? Does sustainability even factor into this whole high-tech manufacturing world?
I think that's the million-dollar question these days, and it's one that more and more companies are asking themselves. And
Hmm.
honestly, it's becoming a bigger and bigger part of the conversation.
Okay, well, that's good to hear at least. So how are they making it work? How do you integrate sustainability into something this high-tech?
There are a few different approaches. One that's gaining a lot of traction is this idea of a circular economy. Have you heard of that?
Vaguely, maybe. Remind me.
Basically, it's about minimizing waste and keeping resources in play for as long as possible. So you're designing products that can be easily disassembled and recycled, or you're creating closed-loop systems where the waste from one process becomes the input for another.
So it's like that whole reduce, reuse, recycle thing, but like supersized?
Exactly. But then on top of that, you have companies using those same Industry 4.0 technologies we talked about, the AI, the automation, to actually optimize their operations for minimal environmental impact.
So it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
You can use this technology to boost efficiency, but also to make it greener.
You got it. We're starting to see that innovation and sustainability don't have to be at odds with each other. They can work together.
It's really good to hear that sustainability is becoming such a central focus in this high-tech world. Feels like we're finally, moving past that old use it and toss it mentality.
Yeah, and that shift, it's not just coming from like a sense of we should do this. It's becoming a real economic driver too.
Oh, how so?
Think about it. Resources are getting scarcer, energy costs are up, and customers are demanding more sustainable products. Companies are realizing that, it just makes sense on every level.
Right. It's not just the right thing to do, it's also good business.
Exactly. It's not a cost center anymore. It's a competitive edge.
Okay, so looking back at everything we've talked about today, if you had to boil it down to one key takeaway, what would it be?
I think the biggest takeaway here is that we're not just witnessing like an evolution of manufacturing. It's a total revolution, and technology is at the heart of it. But it's not just about making things faster or cheaper anymore. It's about using technology to actually solve problems, to make things better for people and the planet.
It's like a whole new way of thinking about what manufacturing can be.
100%.
Well, this has been incredible, honestly. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing all of this with us today.
Thanks for having me. I always enjoy talking about this stuff.
And for everyone listening, if you're as fascinated by all this as we are, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. Check out the show notes for some more info and links. And the next time you see a Made in Belgium or Made in Malta label, take a second look. You might be surprised by what you find. Until next time, stay curious.